So in this next lesson, it's just going to continue from the previous one and then show you, if you haven't discovered yourself already, that you can create a brand new Flutter project, not just from the command line, but from VS Code. You say Flutter here, and there's an option here of create new project. So you can then pick what type of project you want. And for now, we're just going to talk about a very simple kind of Flutter application. So we just pick the first one here. I'm going to specify where we're going to create the new Flutter project. This is where I'm going to put it. And I want here defining where I'm going to call it. Make it all lowercase. I'll call it bottom nav and with routing. Okay. So it's creating a new project and it's put the VS Code straight into that project. So now what I'm going to be doing is defining a couple of screens with VS Code and then add Go routing. And we're going to see how to sort of go from one screen to another using a bottom navigation. And so I'm going to do a little bit of using AI to kind of help me out here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to define um, two files. So I'm going to call it first screen, and then I'm going to create another one, second screen, and I can create as many as I want. So here in the first screen, so in first screen, Dart, create a new Flutter screen with a scaffold. With the title first screen in the title bar and with two cards stacked vertically and an elevated button on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to do that. And what's going to happen is this AI tool will kind of help me out. And since I specified it in ask mode, it didn't put it in the code. So I'm going to just put the cursor in the screen here. Oops, put the cursor in the screen and then select this one here of inserting it at the cursor. So here's the first screen. Now I'm going to do this similar one for the second screen. So I'm going to say in second screen Dart, create a Flutter screen with scaffold with the app title bar with second screen and with a vertically stacked, I'm going to call it cards with a icon button instead of the elevated button. There we go. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Just I could have put it into agent mode, and agent mode would have actually just put the code straight into the screen. Now that I have these two screens, now we want to be able to figure out a very good way of going from one screen to the other. So the more instead of using the navigate, what we're going to be doing instead is adding a component into this project called Go Router. So I'm going to say at the bottom, Flutter pub add. So this way here on the bottom that I'm doing of Flutter pub add is a very generic way of adding components from the Flutter library that people have published and be able to add it directly into this project. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is adding an external package or plugin into our project, and the one that we're looking for is called ORouter. And if you look at this, you can tell several things. One, it's made by the official Flutter team here. So you can see that this particular component is made by the Flutter development team. You can also see other couple of things, how many people downloaded, how many people are using it. And then here you can see what kind of platform this component is supported. But see here, you can see it's supported on Android, iOS, web, and these other platforms. So those are the ones we particularly care about, Android, iOS, and web. And then if you look at things like the version, you can see that this thing here has been updated pretty regularly. So I'd say that it was updated just less than a month ago, and it has been around for a while. And you can see that it's been over 2, maybe 3 years into the going of how long this project and this component has been around. So it's been around for about 4 years since the first version came out. So we can know that this particular component is pretty stable. It is being maintained actively. And if you look at the actual repository where this code is actually located, you can see that there's a fair number of commits for this. So you could see that the last commit was 4 months ago and so forth. So this is an active project, and you can see that it is part of the Flutter team's repository. So coming back here, say Flutter pub add, and then we specify the name of the component. So we just specify the name. Okay, and then here you can see that the component was added. So let me tell you about how to sort of understand this. It's saying that we're using version 15.1.2. If we look back over here, that is the last version that's around. And when you see this little up arrow character, or we call it caret, that means that when this component gets updated in the future, it's saying, well, at least use this version number, at least version 15.1.2, because later if the Flutter team updates this and let's say it's called 15.2 dot whatever, that your project will try to use the more up-to-date version rather than sticking to just version 15.1.2. If for whatever reason you want to just stay on this version, you just remove this character here, and then it will just stay on version 15.1.2. Okay, but we're going to keep it with the caret key. So now that we've added the component, what we're going to be doing here now is defining the different routes so that from the main screen, and I'm going to be putting a bottom navigation bar and being able to route to different screens. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the power of using these AI tools, and especially when you use the Copilot tool in this agent mode. So here, I'm going to specify a prompt where I want to be able to create a bottom navigation bar and specify that I want to be able to go either to the first screen or the second screen from the bottom navigation bar. And what I do is I make sure that this here on the bottom says agent mode rather than ask. So I'm going to put it in agent mode, and then I'm going to just type this question here. So inside of Dart, main Dart, use the GoRouter component to be able to route from first screen or the second screen from a bottom navigation bar. So I'm going to be, it's actually a very, very short prompt, and let's see how much it can help us out here. So it starts modifying the code in place by looking at the code that I already have. So here it says, your main Dart is now set up to use router to go from first screen or second screen with a bottom navigation bar. The old My Home Page code has been removed, and the navigation is now handled using Go Router and the ShellRoute pattern. Okay, so what I'm going to say here is I'm going to keep. I either can click on keep here, or I can click on the keep here. Okay, you could sort of if when it's giving you multiple choices here of all the changes, you can accept or deny certain pieces. So you could do it at a more micro level of accepting or keeping or undoing certain parts. But what I'm going to do is keep the whole thing. So I'm just going to click on keep here. All right, here. So if you look at what has happened here, if you look at what's happened, so this new component here of Go Router has been defined. And you can see that the first route is called first to go to the first screen, another one called second, which goes to the second screen. And what we're going to see here on the, so here you can see that it's still specifying my app from the main. So if you look at the my app, it is now specifying to use material app router. And it's also specifying now this router object. And this router object is defined here above. And now here on the main scaffold, this is where the bottom navigation bar is now being defined. So we see home scaffold. It's where we specify the first screen or the second screen. Okay, so let's try running. Okay, so what I had to make sure was I made sure that I picked my Android simulator here on the bottom. And then I clicked on either the run button here, or I can do it from here as well. So I ran it. Widget inspector comes up all the time when you run. And now you can see the app running in the emulator. So here is the bottom navigation bar, just generic icons. And then you see the first screen being shown, okay, which is what you see here. And when you click on the second one, the second screen gets shown. So this is a way to be able to get to one or the other screen. Now, if you combine this concept with I mean, if you add more screens, so let's say clicking on this card goes somewhere else, you can then create more screens and then route the click action on these cards to go to new screens so that you would then need to expand this Go router definition to put more screens, and you name it appropriately. And then you have a way to navigate from one screen to the other and uh, be able to define it, where to go from this way. Okay.